Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. I hope you all are fine and are doing good, and I hope that you are enjoying this webinar series. Okay, so today is the third day of the webinar and the series Hello React. To mentor us, we have Smile Gupta between us. She is a front end engineer and a tech speaker. Without wasting much of your time, I would like to request ma'am to come and join us and continue with the session. Hello,
Mm,
ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm good. So, are you excited for the third day?
Exactly today, like I have seen that, whenever we scroll down any website, this dark mode and light mode have become a new trend. And today we will make that thing. And when I made for the same thing for the first time, and I was like, wow, this is something, I should know it. And I'm so excited.
Even I am excited for that live project. Even I will be doing it side by side.
Yes.
Yeah, so, without wasting time, let's get this started.
I'll share my screen. Just cue me in, like if my screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Tamanna, can you do me a thing? You have the yesterday's my PPT you have, right? Or this live docs, right? It had a link for the source code. Can you share that in the comment section
Yeah, okay, I will just share it in the comment section.
so that like everybody will have a reference? Like sometimes when we do live coding, right? There is a high chance we get lost while doing coding. So it will give everybody a edge what we are going to make it.
Okay, so guys, I'm sharing it in the comment section and even in the description box, I will be linking it. So, you can go through the same.
Okay. So I'll also open it, and what we will do is parallelly, we will just make a checkpoint for us that whether we have achieved this component or not, and stuff like that. So okay, a prerequisites for this to make this app is just like we made this. We had made right. We have learned yesterday this functional components and some concepts of state, and props. So today also we are going to follow the same. Okay. So this is the application. By the end of the day, we'll be able to build it. Yesterday, I was feeling that since I knew React, right, there would be some beginners also, beginner friendly this sessions would be, and I was going way too fast. So today, what we will probably try to make is we will make this application, and I'll also tell you some concepts about local storage. Okay, why we use this local storage, because sometimes we will also, I'll tell you about this local storage once we proceed ahead with the session. Today what we will learn is we'll make this application using components, and we'll get to know about the concept of this use state and this use effect. Okay, there are two hooks that predominantly everybody uses it, and hooks have become a new trend. One thing is I'll again iterate is sometimes see when you read React from some blogs, right? There would be n number of blogs written on React, but I'll give you here a tip: don't blindly follow those blogs, because see whenever a new edition comes of React, there are a lot of amendments. Just giving you one example, at times when React came in their initial stages, we were not having anything. We can't have any state in this functional components. And generally, in some blogs till date, it's mentioned that React have two types of component. One is state component, and one is a class component. And this state component sorry, class components are stateful, and functional components are stateless. Okay, now this is not the fact. Functional components, in these functional components, now we can also add on states. What were states? State is nothing as such, just a variable which we keep in our functional component or a class component, and whose value we can alter throughout our program. Okay, so that is all about state. So today what we will learn two concepts. One is one hook, that is use state, and the other hook, that is use effect. And using this use state and use effect and some concept of local storage, we will make this app. And apart from that, part doing basic styling, okay, we generally follow there is something called css, right, or scss. So today I'll also explain you more about there is something called styled component. I'll show you. Okay, this is one of the styled components. Generally, it is like, it's one of the best ways, or a lot of people use it, right? With this ES6 or ES7, what we call this JSX components, right? Or we can say that people use this styled component with this JSX kind of things, or some ESX snippets or ES7 snippets. Okay, so I'll explain you a bit about this also, because I am assuming everybody would be knowing this plain CSS. So let's learn something new today. So we'll all the styling which I'll do in this code will be using this style component. And how do we can add the style component? Simply we'll write this import I. See, if you'll open this live doc code, right? This code which Tamanna had shared, this is a GitHub repo. So herein I have done some documentation. We will use this npm I styled components. One more thing is that at initial days, like old days, generally we used to write npm install, or I is the short form for install, right? Styled components dash dash save. Okay, if we wanted to save any things in our file, so we were using this dash dash save. But now in this npm have upgraded itself. Now we don't need to write this dash dash save. If we'll not write dash dash save also, now it will automatically save all the necessary files in the code. Okay, so you can simply write npm I styled components. So if you are making this app from scratch, you have to do two things. One is that you have to create a React app. This is npx create React app, and any name of the app I have by default given the name as this my first app. And then one more thing, just install it before making this, right? Doing any css, you might be wondering from where Smile is using the styled or stylings. I have used styled components. Okay, and we'll go through the styled components one by one. So this is today we are going to learn, and if time permitted, after this, what I'll show you some of the nitty and gritty about this. What is an API and what is Axios? We'll talk about it also. Okay, so I'll start. So what I have done till date, I'll do here one thing. Yesterday, I was making some folder structure. So this is like we'll follow a simple folder. What I am doing is I am deleting extra files. Okay. So ideally, a folder structure looks like this. If we will work on some big projects, right, or if we talk about some industry standards, so these guys leave in the one thing, that is doing structuring. Why structuring? They are so conscious about structure because tomorrow it's a chance, right? Like you might switch or stuff like that. People should be able to understand your code after you leave also. So they are one of the big fans of having good structure. So generally what we do, if all the styling related things, we make a styles folder and we add all the styling related things in styles folder, or all the style sheets, be it CSS, SCSS, or the styled component. And then in components folder, generally we make two kind of folder here. We make some, if you want, right, some buttons or some text fields, text areas, stuff like that, some components which you want that you will reuse. the entire application again and again, you can always add them into a folder called common. Okay, and if you don't want to focus on making a common folder, you can just stick with making a component file, and like this is a content folder. If you are, see, there are two things. If you are adding some CSS, explicit CSS, then better it's like make a folder called content, and in that folder you can make content.js and content.css or SCSS. Or if you are following something called style components, then you don't need to do it. Okay, this is the basic structure. Just give me a second, Aaron. So this is something we made yesterday. If you guys remember yesterday what we were doing, we were making something, we were trying to make this we were trying to make what we were trying to make, we were trying to make some dummy of functional components and class components. And I added a tip here. What you can do is, generally I am that person who forgets the syntax. Okay, so what I generally do is, and what you can also do is, this VS Code. I am a great fan of VS Code. So VS Code comes with the extension called ES7 snippets or ES6 snippets. You can always install it. And apart from that, you can always install a Prettier. Prettier is one thing that will format your code. Okay, and why formatting is good one. See, why I use formatter in my code. One thing is that my code looks clean, and the other thing is that sometimes what happens is, if I'm doing some error, right, like somewhere an angle bracket is missing or a closing tag is missing, then this prettier always help me in understanding what I have done wrong, because a prettier will only work on the project if it would be error free. Okay, so this is one thing. So by default, I have this thing coming up. We just yesterday made a component. This was a content component which we made. See, just like that, we have, like, I have given one of the headings. Okay, and one of this, some text I have given apart from this, and a read more button. Okay, I haven't done any styling on this guy, so I haven't done it. So we will now do styling using the styled components. Okay, just okay. If you have any doubt, right, just post it in comment section, and I'll try after every 10 or 15 minutes. I'll just look back to the comment sections, and if there would be any problem, any doubt, then just ask me up. Okay, now I'll start it. So, how I am going to build it? See, one thing is that always you try to divide the entire project into segments. Now, if I talk about, this is my endpoint, right? What is this? One is this thing, we have already built it, and one is this, right? A moon and a this sun symbol, which will alter the theme. So what I have to do is, initially what I am doing is, I have to figure it out. I have to also build it, correct, and I have to do some basic styling here to make this. So what I'm doing first, I'll do some basic styling just to make this guys in the center. Okay, so how will I do that? So after this function, before this function, function app is there, I'll write some code here. So to use style component, we have to first import it. Whenever we are using any external library, external package, we have to always install it. See, that is one reason our that proves our React is a uh, library and not a framework. It's a JavaScript library. Why JavaScript library? Because if at any point of the time I have to do some routing, I have to include some styling, and like, not styling, like for basic CSS, you don't need to install anything. But if we are using some external com modules and stuff like that, then you have to do styling. Okay, or you have to do import some extra modules. So that is why it doesn't contain anything. So this is because it just have React and React DOM. So anything we want as an external practice, right, as an external add-on, we have to always install it. So what I'll do now, we have to install this style components. So what I'll write, I'll simply write import, and then what I'll write here, we will initially use this styled. This styled is one of the ways of how we do styling. So I'll write import styled from. I've already installed this style components before this session, so that it might not take time of everybody here, because sometimes what happens is it takes generally 5-10 minutes to install all these things. So I have already installed the styled components in it. Then now what I'll do, now I'll write something called, just see what I'm writing. Which I'll write. I'm writing const, and I'm making a container. Okay, const container, then is equals to, then here we'll write styled, it is the same styled which we have used here, then styled, then what I'll write, I want to add this style on div. Okay, dot div, and then we have down the escape, we have this escape characters. So I'll write this escape characters. Okay, so I'll write this escape characters, and here I'm writing something called C. I'm writing some max width as 80%, or I'll let, sorry, 50%. And then apart from 50%, then what I'll do, I'm doing it some margin I'm adding. Okay, the top margin I'll write as something called 8 rem. Okay, and then I'll write auto, then I write 0. Okay, so some styling I have wrote. How come I was so sure that I need 50% of width and margin as 8 rem, auto, and 0? Generally, why, how I do styling when I built a simple component, then if I'm not sure, but I have to apply, generally I use dev tools. In dev tools, in that entire dev, you play around it and you come up with the entire fixed styling. Okay, so that is the reason I come up with. Then in this div, what I'll do, I'll write, now I'll not be the div. Simply I'll do one thing. I'll write this container. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now it is compiling, and let's see. Nothing happened. Should not be the case. Let me see. Some class. Okay. It's overwritten. Oh, I guess the problem. Here I've seen now. Because of one semicolon was missing, right? It was not able to identify. See how I debugged it? Very simple. See, whenever you play with CSS, right, there is a high chance you can do a mistake, right? So generally, do open this div, right? You have added a styling here or some tags here, then I have added something on this root, right? Then I'll check here. See, this is some class it had already gave me. And initially when there was not a semicolon, right, then it was treating margin as atrem and auto and stuff like that. It was treating it. So from there I understood what is my mistake, and then I fixed it. Okay. So this is how you can use this developer console as your favorite best friend kind of. So basic things I have done here. Now I'll show you how I'll write some styling in this also. Okay. So what I'll do, see, just like I'll give you an overview what I'm going to do here. I am use this code as a reference. So here in the source folder, we'll build some styling here. So just have a look onto it. We'll write some global styles. Okay. So we are going to write something like this for everything. Now, how we'll do it? Simply, I am going to create a new file under this what we call the styled thing, and herein I'll write this. I want to make it as my global style. Okay, so slow style dot ps. Why in this format? Because we are here trying to write some styling with the JSX. See, it's different. How it's different whenever we are doing something like called const global style. This is not, we are not writing as a direct css, we are not writing direct css. See, this is like we are dynamically populating some values in it, so we are not actually writing it in this actual css. Why I've preferred using styled components? One simple reason was I have to do my css dynamically. So once if you want to do your CSS dynamically, so one thing is that you can't actually directly pass down any props in CSS. One way is generally what happens is if you are doing some you have to dynamically add some styling, right? You generally had to add on a practice of this what we call this is what we have. Generally, what you have to do is when making this dynamically CSS, right? See herein, when I am clicking on this dark and light sunlight, so what is happening? The CSS has been changed dynamically, correct? So whenever you want to do some changes dynamically, right? One thing is that a lot of developers do this using this adding a inline style. Okay, inline style is possible, but if you want to maintain an external CSS file, right, for these kind of things, that is one advantage of using this style components. What these style components are basically, in a JavaScript format, we are trying to do all kind of CSS things. Okay. So first we will write some styling for this button. So what I'll do herein, I'll simply write import, and what I'll do, I'll use this create global style. This is CREATE, create global style. This is part of this. Just go through once the documentation of this styled components, then you will find it out. I am taking some function from this styled components only, this global style, and simply importing it from where I'm importing it from. I'm importing it from style components. Okay. I've imported one thing, then I'll write some function. I'll write export, and here I'm writing const. Okay. Then const, then I'll write global. What I can give the name, I'm just giving the name as global style. Okay. Okay, then global style. Then we will write here create this what create global style. Okay, this thing, and again this arrow, that escape sequence, and here I'll write. And if I want to add some style to my body tag, then I simply write body. Then I am writing some tag to dot button primary. This is the class name. I am thinking to give that button. For now, temporarily, I am giving it as background. Just to show you, okay, what I can do. I can give it as what, black, or I'm actually planning to use something called, for instance, I'm using red. Okay, we'll add the background later on only. dynamically. Just I'll give you show you something called, we have this cursor I'll add. When I'm clicking it, this cursor is there na, I'll add a pointer here. Simply I'm writing cursor, then I'll write pointer. Okay. Then I'm writing outline. Don't need any outline, none. Then border radius. Border radius is for making it bit round. Okay. Border radius. Then wait, it would be a lot. One rem. Then font size. I'll do some font size. One rem. Then apart from font size, I want to do some padding. For left right, I'm adding 0.5 rem, and from top and bottom, I'm adding 1.5 rem. So now I'll pick this thing as these, and how and where I'll do that in this right content.js. I'll simply do one thing. I'll add on my class. In React, we write class name. I'll write this. Okay. I'll just add a look into it. Now, one thing is missing. See how nothing has been affected on it. One reason is I have not imported it. So I am importing in this app file only. Simply I'll write import. The name of the thing was this create this global style, right? So I'm clicking on this global style, import this global style. Okay. From where I have to import it. See, I have imported it from styles and global style. Okay. Now, class. Let's check. We'll debug it. This is the name I gave it. Global style is defined but never used. Okay, let's see. I got a problem. So here we are not using global style. So inside a container, what I'll do, just add here global style. See this? Now this button has looked like this. So I'll reiterate what I did. I added a global style. I have created a style sheet, a JavaScript kind of thing. Why JavaScript? Because I have to dynamically populate all the values. And in CSS, directly triggering JavaScript variables, right? Dynamically passing things to CSS. It is tough. Okay, for that we have to write a lot of inline style. Since I don't want to follow that old method, I wanted to follow a good method. So that is why I came up with this global style. Okay. So one thing of where I'll do that, I have created, I'll import something called create global style. Create global style is an inbuilt function that is provided by this style components. Okay. Then I'll export it. See the name here. Here the name we can give anything. By default, I have given this global style. You can give it anything. So this global style, and herein create global style already, which we have imported from here, and herein we can write n number of CSS. Here we can also pass on some dynamic variables also. That I'll show you how. But for of now, I have just created some static things on this prime button primary class, which I have added. Now, how you will connect this global style sheet to your main file, right? So I have connected, I have imported this file in this app.js. Okay, JS, I have added this, and herein I'll write that same name which I have used here. Okay, this one, global style, and this name I'll call it here. And from here, this is the path which I'll give. And here in this one thing, I have added a container anywhere. This position will not matter. Generally try to add this before you call the actual component. Okay, before the actual component, try calling this global style. Will it do? It will apply the global styles which you will write this in this global style.js, right? It will apply to the entire application. Why entire application? Because see, whenever we do some styling on a parent component, it will automatically pass on the same style sheet to my child component. Herein, this content.js was my child component. Okay. So now one thing is there for time being. Herein, right, I am doing some not doing right. So now this is done. Now what I'll do, I'll make this things, the sun and the moon. Now how will I do that? I have used some SVGs here. So there is one reference repo, right, which you guys have. This is, I'll open that, and in that repo only I have some added some reference code. If you will open it, if you'll see in this day 2, this helper file.md, I have already created a MD file. So herein what I have wrote, I have already wrote a SVG code for this sun and for this moon. Okay. So now we will build these both guys will build it. Okay. So one thing I'll do that for temporarily basis, just how you can use a developer console, simply hover on some element here, and here, right, just see down, there is the element styles, right? These element styles come handy. So whenever you want to apply and you want to play around with any styling, right, this is the place where you can play. For temporarily, if I'm not sure how my CSS syntax looks like, right, sometimes it's very obvious that when you are starting off with CSS and HTML, you might be able to understand the code, but you won't be able to understand where we have to actually write it. So herein I am writing in this background color, uh, and what will happen, you don't need to even remember all the text files and stuff like that. You don't need to remember. So I am just selecting here. Okay, so this is how you can find it. So, and from here only you can directly copy it and you can paste it in your entire code. One more thing I'll add on here. See, if you are using this, what we call style, inline style, I'll just give you a glimpse of it, why I picked it up. Uh, So if I'm just writing, giving you some instance, if you are any day you are using inline style, just one thing you have to remember with React, this is how you do inline styles. Okay. If you write any property in here, yes, you have to take care the way you write here. So simply here, all the things will come in a this bracket, what double quotes. And if you want to add on more than one thing, then you have to add a comma here. Okay, this thing you remember it. This should sometimes it creates problem. Okay, the heck. Uh, Okay, maybe because of the global style we are using, it's not reflecting. So this is the way generally we add some stylings. Okay, just be careful about this thing. Now what I'll do, I'll write this thing in this body itself. Okay, now this is done. Now this has added the global color to this thing. Why I have added a global color? For temporary only I'll add it. See this code, right? This white thing will not be able to see without a dark background. So that is why I have added. Okay, now I'll tell you how did I build this. So for this, what I'll do, I'll simply take up my code, what we call this SVG code only for this moon and sun. Okay. Uh, so how I'll do that in this only components. Since it's a component, I'll make one thing called my toggle dot. Now see carefully how I am making this. Firstly, I'll write my import React. This I'm simply writing my import React from React, and then I'll write my import. What I'll import my styled from what styled components. Correct. From style components, I'll import it. Then what I'll do, I'm doing here something called let sun comma moon. Why I am doing it? Because I want to add some styling to it. So generally, when you use right SVG, sometimes adding styling directly to them is a bit tricky. So one thing is that instead of using a SVG tag, we generally prefer to give that SVG some name. Like herein, we are giving some sun and moon kind of thing. Okay, so this is like just to have a better, if we want to play with this styling with SVG, try to give them these guys some generic name. Okay, so I am doing some styling here. I'll do some styling here. Okay, for right now I am leaving it just as is. Okay, we'll come to the styling part later on. So here and now, I'll simply write my const. I'm using a functional component. Okay. So this was my toggle. Then we write here equal to, and here this comes, and this. And, okay. And after this thing's over, last line is this export default toggle. Okay. You don't need to remember all these things if you have this ES7 in your system. Okay. Now herein I'll simply write my return. Anything outside this return will as a JavaScript. Okay. So here what I'll do in this return, I'll write a div. Okay. I write a div and here I'll add two things. What two things I'll write? See, I am want to do here some conditional rendering. How do we do? Remember that technology example? We were using some conditional rendering based upon the value of a variable. So here also we'll use the value based upon that value. We'll conditionally render if we want to have a moon or a sun. So how this variable, from where this variable will come? This variable should come from this. So for temporarily, I'll write here a moon. What I'll do, I'll write import what this toggle from. Now what I want to do here, I want to do something called state, right? A value where we will store some value, like where we will have two names, one is dark theme and one is light theme. So a variable name that will have a word called dark and light, time to time its value should be updated. So for doing such things, we have to make a state. State is nothing just like a variable. And for making a state, if you're trying to do a state in a functional component, then you have to do something called useState. Okay. So I'll write here useState. Why this use state has been used? This use state is used just to have this if we want to have some kind of states, then one thing is that we must always have a use state. Okay. I was thinking aloud. Just give me a minute. What we will do is, let's not directly use state here. We'll do it in a more better way. So I'll do something. I'll make one more style because we have to do some styling also. So here I'll make something called dark mode theme. Okay, because we want to build something called dark mode now. So what I was thinking here we'll make just keeping a same name convention only so that you will not be confused. I'll use this. I'll copy. Okay. I'll make one more thing here. Okay. So we'll use this use state and use effect thing here. Why? Because let's try to understand also it in a better way. So here only I'll write import this React or not. Here React is not used. I'll use this use state and use here, and I'll also use effect. I'll explain what this use effect is when we will use. Okay. From from where? From React. These things come from React itself. Okay. Yeah. Okay, one thing I have done here, now here I'll make something called this. Again, I'll make a function only. Export const. Let's give it a name called user dark what the user dark mode. Okay. Then I'll write here const. See how we'll define states. If you are using a functional component, right? What you have to do to define states, we will write const, and here we will write the name of the variable. Okay, this is theme, and then we will write a comma, and then we will write the name of the function which will update the theme value of this variable theme. It's like something like that. Remember when we were using this code then, when we want to update the value of the state, we were using something called this.setState. Correct. We were calling some function. So here in also in the functional components, if we want to update some value of some state, what we have to use it, we have to use again we will keep some of the function only. See, basic logic between a class component and functional component doesn't, it's not different, but we what we have to do is take care is this when we use there is no difference in the basic form, basic structure, but like we have write something called this dot set state. For the replacement of this dot set state, we will here have we have to define our own name on our own function. So this use state technically have two things in a const. One thing we will write const, and then we will write a square bracket, and in the square bracket we will write two things. One is the name of the variable and the comma, and the name of the function which will update the value of the variable. So herein you can give it anything. So herein I'll give it as set theme. Generally try to follow here camel casing. Okay. So I am here now. We will write use state. Okay. use state, and herein in this brackets what we will write, if it's like we don't want to define any value, default value to it, then we will leave it as is. But if we want to define any value to it, right, be it be array, be it be an object, we can provide it in this braces, okay, round braces. So by default I am providing here something called that. Okay, so from here this will come. Now what I'll do, now just carefully see what I do. Okay, I am here trying to connect it. I'll write some code and then I'll explain it. I'll do these things like Mm, I'll use this theme also. What I'll do, I'll store this value in this local storage thing also. Then I'll write the code and then try to understand what I'm writing. See, what is this local storage? If you are hearing this thing for the first time, there are three kind of storage. Whenever we work with web, right, we come forward with three kind of things. One is a local storage, one is session storage, and one is cookies. So what is this storages? See, whenever a web page has been loaded, something is some data we have. Okay, we want to store it. For example, what is this now? Session storage. Whenever we use this authentication, right? Whenever we sign in to some Facebook account, only I'm taking an example. When you are signing in your Facebook account, what happens behind the scene? There is a thing called JWT token. What this JWT token is, till the time you are in the application, right, or you are inside the logged in, you are logged in, you will always have a unique identified token. Okay, these things is called, whenever you have something, you save some things in a session. Session is more on those lines, like you opened a website, then whenever some things are being saved, they'll be saved temporarily in some storage, and once you close that website, right, your all this will be erased. One example of session storage can be, remember, did you ever use WhatsApp web or LinkedIn, for that matter of fact? Whenever we are trying to type anything, we were typing some message and we want to send it to our friend, but for some reasons we do what we have done, we have put it on cross. So what generally a alert comes, right, when you click on you cross, you have some unread messages, right, unread, some comments are not been resolved. So you get some message like that. What this message is, this message is more on those lines, it's for as these things are being stored in a session. So a web page has been loaded, some text which we haven't sent is, they comes in session storage. How session storage? Once you will close the website or close the page, all the text you have typed will be going away. So this is one example of session storage. Now the thing comes, this local storage, and one thing is cookies. Cookies are used whenever, right, they want, cookies are what, when they save your preferences in the web itself, right, when we do like I accept your terms and conditions, or generally what happens is a website, people capture some cookies, like some frequent things. How, giving you one example, whenever you are logged in, right, again to a Facebook account or any account, not specifically Facebook, just you're logged in to some account, and you have something called this. Generally, what happens is they try to save all your username, the name, or some email ID or your phone number and stuff like that. Some of the fields according to how backend is configured in cookies. And if they want to check, these some values, they want to use it in the entire application, they get it from cookies. So this is one example of cookies. And third comes is this local storage. What is this local storage? A lot of people uses it, a lot of big websites also use this session local storage. They give you 5 MB kind of space in your browser itself per web page. So what happens is, when we want some data, we don't want to store in server. Okay, and we want that data within our website only. So this is, we generally store it in local storage. How you can see the local storage, like suppose I am taking one example like Flipkart. This is one of the good e-commerce website. They also use the session storage, local storage a lot. So when I opened it, now if I'll go click this inspect, and then in this inspect click on this application. Okay, so now you find something called local storage. So herein, these are three things they are storing: some last heartbeat sent on BT, beacon, TCL, or last time. So these kind of values, you can store a lot of things in this what we call local storage. And we have then session storage. So here we can save our session storage. I don't know what they said. It depends upon website to website. So they have some things they have stored here. And then we have this cookies. So this is how you can find it out how things go here. Okay, these are some cookies they are using. They have probably they have decrypted the text, so nobody will be able to make sense of out of it. So this is how we will now. What we will do, we will store this some value in this our local storage. So, okay, this is how you can see local storage, from where you can see this all three storages: local storage, session storage, and cookies. From this inspect element, right, click on this applications and you will be able to see this storage. Okay, these are three things. Okay, in one line one we can use, yes, we can use single quotes and double quotes. Both are okay with React, right? Generally, I write single quotes, and what we do when we prettify things, it automatically converts into double quotes. Both are fine. Like in some websites, in some languages or frameworks, it have a issue, but in React, you don't. But if you enable ESLint, right, then it will force you to use double quotes everywhere. So coming back to this, so now I'll also write some code, try to understand how I write it. Then I have used this. Now here I'm using const, then set mode. Okay, this is some kind of way, like of what we call, this is how we save it into some local storage. Okay, so I'm saving this set mode I'll use in earlier time. So how you save it in local storage, see that window. Okay, then write dot, then write local storage. Herein you have to give the name. First you have to tell, are you setting the value or getting the value. So get set item, and herein you will give, they ask you key value pair. So I am giving it as a yes theme, and here I am passing it as mode. I'll use this mode. I'll tell you how, from where this mode is coming. Okay. So this one thing I have done. Then here I'm using set mode. Okay. So set theme. Now I want to store something in this theme. Okay. So how will I do? I'll simply write set theme. Okay. A function name, and I'll write here. In this, I'll write some value, be it be dark, light, any color and stuff like that. This is how we use. If you want to store anything in this theme, right, how will you do is, there are two ways. One is like theme is equals to, you will do, right, which we used in basic JavaScript, like something like that. I'll try writing it. Theme is equals to mode. This is one way, okay. And if you want you want to update the state in React style, then what we will use is simply write set theme, the name here, this name which we have defined here, and here we will write this theme. Okay. We'll come to this set mode. We haven't called it yet. Now, and then I am writing one more function. Just say this const toggle. Why I am writing all the functions, I was thinking I'll write all the functions in one go itself, so that I don't have to come back to these things. after this. Okay, so again, a arrow function I'm trying to make. Then here I'll write theme equal to. See, I told right why we use this equal to when we want to compare both the value and the data type. If theme is dark, then set mode. This is ternary operator or one line we were writing, right? We generally write, this is short form. Like I'll explain you a bit about it. We generally write, right, if theme equal to equal to dark. Okay, then we do something like here some messages, and then we do write else. So if we have only two conditions, right, one if and one else, generally this is a good practice that we write a ternary operator. Okay, I'm using that. See, I'll try to write the code every time in a different way. Why? So that you may be able to understand all the things in different ways, and whichever you feel easy, just try use that in your real life. Okay. So I'm using, if my theme is dark, then generally we add on question mark. If this thing is true, then what you have to do, you have to, if my theme is dark, set mode, right? Else, okay, else to set mode. For of now, you might be thinking what I'm writing. Just wait for a couple of minutes. You will be able to understand what I'm trying to do. Okay, I'm trying to use this dark and this colon. Then, okay, now why we use this use effect? See, every time you want any event to be listened or some API call you want to make, okay, or some things in which you are involving this event handlers, generally what we can use is we can use a use effect. How and why? See, use effect is something once a page loads, okay, use effect is something that loads then itself. So if we want to make sure some API calls happen, right, when we want those API calls to be happen whenever we are loading the page, correct? So whenever we are loading the page and we don't want to trigger anything, right? If we are using any function to call our API, correct? Or to do some event handling, we have to trigger that function, right? Using somewhere. So if we don't want to trigger any function and once we are loading our entire page and we want to have some functions in there, so generally two ways there are. In if we are using class component, then you will use something called component did mount, okay, and if you are using functional components, you will use class this thing called use effect. Don't worry about this class components now. We'll try to make some projects with class components, using class component also. So there I'll explain how this component did mount is different. So in this use effect, this is use effect is again a hook, a hook where we want to have this, um, some things. Just for of now, just understand one of the use case of use effect. Whenever we want some API call to happen or something, some event handling and stuff like that, we want something like that, we add it in use effect. Okay, just giving you a layman terms meaning for now. When we will proceed further with this course, right? Because this is for sure every day we will use effect. So every day we'll cover different scenarios of use effect. Then you will be able to much more able to make sense what is this use effect. Okay. Today, how why this use effect is I am calling this use effect whenever my this, right, whenever I'll click on this sun or whenever I'll click on this moon, what should happen, it should always trigger my use effect. I want to handle that event. Like whenever I'm clicking on sun and moon, it should it should update the value of this my theme. So that is why I'm using a use effect. Okay, so I am using a use effect. The basic syntax is like just like a arrow function. round bracket if we want to pass any argument in it, and then arrow function. Then after arrow function, what we do, we write this parenthesis. Okay, and inside this, and after this, in here, when this parenthesis are opened, herein one thing is this thing. What is this thing? This thing is whenever we want to run this only once, and whenever we don't want any dependency herein, like sometimes it happens is, I'll give you one instance when this use effect should be happen. Whenever I am doing some more API calls, like giving you one example here. You have all you might have seen a search box. Everybody would have seen the search box. What generally happens in a search box, whenever we update some values, right? We want to have API calls one after other. Once we are changing the value of the what we are adding the value of this updating the value of that search item, right? Suppose we are searching a teddy bear. Okay. So when we write T, then we write E, D, D, Y, and stuff like that. Every time, whenever you enter one more character, right, it always triggers a new API call. So in these things, in this round square brackets, what we can do, if we have some dependency, right, whenever we want to trigger it again and stuff like that, you write in here. Okay, this is one thing. So here I don't need as such a dependency. So I will it will automatically trigger when I'll call this toggle theme function. Okay, so here I'm writing console dot log sorry const. Now, why this const will come? I'll talk about it. This is now how you can get the item from a local storage. This is how we are setting the item in the local storage. That is window dot local storage dot set item. Now I'll tell you how do we get the value from a local storage. So simply I'll add a variable here. I'm writing local theme. This window, then local storage, again a function of local storage, then this dot get item. Okay, and here in I'll write some, this is the same value we will use here. Okay, then I simply, this is how we need to get it from local storage. Now I'll simply write this local theme. If my local theme is, now here this set theme will come into picture. If my what local theme is there, by default we were adding this what we were adding low set theme, we were adding a dark. Okay, so by default if there is a local theme, so set this local theme as this why this local theme. Okay, by default, see why I'm using a local storage. You might be thinking why this curl is involving local storage in it. I'll give you one instance. I'm not using a backend. I have to save users preference anywhere. Why users preference? See, in this application I have made this this application, right? This is my application. See, I am opening leaving this application in a light mode. Okay, so I'll do one thing. I'll cross it. Okay. So it will automatically open me in a light mode. And if I leave this in a dark mode, it will automatically open a dark mode for me. Why this is happening? This is happening because of my local storage. So this is why. So what I'm trying to do here is, if you have any local theme already present in your local storage, then what you have to do, you use that theme only. And if not, then use this my set theme as this what we call what by default we were making theme or this dark na. So I'll do something here. So set mode is dark. Okay. So I've done this. Now I'll return. Now it's come. I will return something. I'll simply return here. two things. One, I want to return my theme, and other is I want to return my toggle theme. This is my functions, okay? I format it. Now I will, this is all the code which I needed for this the dark mode. How this dark mode will help me, now you will we will use this toggle theme and stuff like that in my app.js, then you will be able to have much more clarity. So I have defined this one guy. Now I'll not touch anything in this code. Now what I'll do, so I've done this. Now we were building this toggle.js, right? Now we'll go to that. Before that, I was thinking something. Huh. So I was thinking we will add this theme into this here, right? Because we wanted to have this prop, state and prop, right? So herein I'll add some props. I'll show you. So now what I'll do? Now check it out. So herein I'll call this guys here functional app. So how will I call this? I want to first call my dark mode, right? I'll import it. Import this my what we call it as my user dark mode, right? We name this function as user dark mode. So I'll write here same thing. Okay, I'll call this user dark mode. From where I have to call this? I have to call this from component. Then style user dark mode. Okay. So herein now here I'll use anything which we write apart from this return, like outside the return, it's just JavaScript. So here I'll use on my theme, comma toggle. Okay, toggle theme, from where I am adding this into this user. Got it. So here I'll do that, and then what I'll do one more thing. Here I'll do one more thing. I'm just consting this theme mode. If my theme mode is like, theme is my light. Then if my theme is light, then my theme, there I'll do things more, like coming to it, light theme, comma, dark theme. From where this dark and light themes things will come, we'll define it in my user styling. So what I'll do, these both things, right? Oh, it's good time that from this global style only, right? Here the style.global style we'll install add this light theme and dark theme. Let's first add this also so that it will not create some, my CSS will not create an issue. Okay. So give me a second. Okay. Um, so here now I'll do some theming part also. Here I'll make two of this. Now see what I'll do. One I've made this and I'll make two more things here. Import this, sorry, export const this light theme. Okay. We'll define some themes, and one thing I'll do. Export const dark. Okay. So I have done this. I've made two themes, this light theme and dark theme. Now I'll set some specifications here. So I need three things. One is my body color, right? So here I'll define my body color. For light theme, it should be white. So what I'll do, this is a hex color for white. Then text color. What happened to this one? This is an object, okay? Text color. Text I need here black. So for black, I'll write simply 121212. Then we need primary color for that button thing, right? For that button, what I'll do, some pinkish kind of purplish kind of thing. So I remember one color. This is 6200 double E. Okay. So here, generally this guy accept the hex colors. Okay, be careful for with it. Now here I'll reduce same things only. These three things. What I'm doing here, see, I'm basically defining styles. So this is my dark theme for it. I'll just swap it. Black color I need 121212, and this is triple F, and I'll slightly add a dark purple here. So we have this as hash BB, and for this 86 and 86 FC. Okay. So I have defined two themes. Now what I'm going to do is, herein I'll add some body tag. I'll dynamically add colors also here. So let's finish the CSS part also. So simply for background, now be careful. So see how I'm doing it. I am using this as my what we will use. Okay. Okay, how will I explain you this? Um, this guy. Okay, just leave it. Leave this part for as is for 2 minutes. Just leave it. Let's one by one. We'll finish it. So basically, we'll do something called where here this theme will come from somewhere. We have to trigger right which theme we are choosing. So I'll tell you that part also. Give me a sec. So from this app, right? First of all, we'll pass on this app thing. I have defined basically what was my intention. This light theme and dark theme I have defined now with this global styles. Okay. Hmm. So I was completing here something. So I'll return here. Now we have to use some one thing more. When we want to by default have something called this is we want to provide a generic theme to the entire application. Something we have to use is that is theme provider. Okay, we have to always use a theme provider. So here in this child, I'll write also something called, I need something called theme provider. So this will actually tell me which I was right which theme which we have to choose. Do we have to choose a light theme or which we have or do we have to choose a dark theme? So this guy will tell me this theme provider will help us in connecting that whether we want to choose a light theme or a dark theme. We have imported this right light theme and dark theme. How will my browser know that whether we are using a light theme or dark theme? So for that entire theming kind of thing, we use a thing called theme provider when we are working with this styled components. So since I want to use this, now here I'll write these all things in a theme provider. Okay. And here I'll pass this guy a theme. What will this theme will be? This theme will be my theme mode. What this theme mode will be? This theme mode will decide whether I want to go with the dark theme or a light theme. So this theme, so this guy will decide this. So I'll write here a theme mode. Okay, now this container and a global style I have added. Now here I'll use this guy also, right? From where we started all these things, we started using, we want to have something called toggle, right? In this toggle, import toggle, in this toggle, we'll provide theme. This is how we pass down props, right? Theme. This is the variable name which we will use in a child component theme. Here I'll write my this theme. And because whenever we'll click on that guy, right, a button we will click, we want to also update its what we want to update the value also, na. So whenever we want to update the values, right, using functional components, we have to pass down this function name also. So this toggle theme, I'll pass this as is a toggle theme. Also, I'm doing passing it as a. Now I'll just finish it up. Then content I did, container I did, a theme provider I did. Okay, so this is one thing. Let's now I've completed everything in this app.js. Now I'll complete my global styles also. So this is now this guy will guess from the theme provider, now whichever theme we want to continue. This automatically we have, right, this theme provider. This theme provider will automatically take care based upon the theme, whether we are selecting a light or a dark. It will automatically tell our system that you have to go with this light theme or you have to go with this dark theme. Okay. So in this user dark mode, sorry, in global styles, I'll now complete this part also. In this body, what I have to do now, I was thinking about my background, right? So what should my background be? So in this background, I am concerned with my theme. See, this is the dollar sign. Now, what is this? Whenever you want to use JavaScript variable as is, right? So how do we access it? We access it by keep adding a dollar sign, and in this dollar sign we add on some variable. So we'll simply write in this what I'll do. This braces. This is I'm temporarily creating a function kind of thing. Herein I am passing down my theme. Okay, now this is what this guy will check whether which theme I am following. Just give me a second. Something I'm missing. Give me a second. Why this? Just let me complete it. Fine. So this theme would be why this is what this is here why this guy was throwing error. This theme, where from this theme will come, this theme will come from this theme provider automatically. These guys, this theme provider and this global styles, because these I have picked it from one thing only, they will automatically take each other's value. Okay, so this background I want this, and same I'll do with the color also. Now the color, I want text color, right? Color is used to change this text. So I'll write here theme. So theme dot text. Okay. Now for color, and one more thing is that I'll add some transitions. Why some transitions? Transitions for that moon and the light symbol. No, herein, see, whenever my screen color is changing from this dark to light, it is changing with some transition, right? It's not directly changing. It's just to show some movement. I'll add some transition also here. So this transition. Here I'm doing for all page 0.5 second, and I'll do some linear transition. Then font family. Let's skip this font family for now. Okay. Uh, then this I've done, and same for this background. For this background, we'll use this. We have defined something called primary, right? So I'll just copy and pasting it. Yes, background also done. Now this color. This is I'm choosing body color. Okay. Now this is done and padding done. Some I'll do some styling to my p tag also. I'm providing it as line height as 1 rem. Okay. 1.54 rem. And this is done and exporting my themes. That's all for this page. Then I'll format it also. Now, what I have to do now, we'll come to this toggle part. Okay, we'll write some code for this toggle.js. Now, see from here, this one, right? We were passing two things to this theme and my toggle theme. This guys, we were passing here, right? So how do we get it? See, I have passed down from this parent component. I am passing down to this toggle, right? This would be my child component. So if I'll open my toggle here in this, right, in this this what we call round brackets, right? If we write something called a curly braces, we will write, and we by writing some curly braces, we can we'll be able to directly use, like we have used a theme, right? If I want to get a theme in this my toggle, I'll simply have to write a theme simply like this, from where this value is coming from this parent component and this toggle theme also. In some blogs, you will be able to see that people are not using this curly braces and they are passing down in this round brackets. They are writing something called props. Okay, and then if you want to use this themes, then you will write props.themes and props.toggle theme. Okay, remember this. Now I'll simply do one thing. Now I'll make some SVG code for these what this guys, right? Moon and sun I'll add, and before adding it I'll just add a event listener also. So on click, okay, on click, what I have to do, on click, what I'll do, on click, I'll do something called toggle thing. This value will be updated. Now what I'll do here, simply I'll write some conditional rendering in the sense, whenever we want to write some JavaScript in JSX, what we have to do, we have to write this curly braces. Okay. In curly braces, when you are doing some things with JSX, right, and you want to include JavaScript in it, you have to add on this curly braces. Whenever you will add on curly braces, right, inside a JSX, your HTML, inside a HTML code, you will be able to write this this what we call this as my CSS, sorry, JavaScript code also you can write. So now I'll compare if my theme is what my theme is. If my theme is light, then from where this light is coming. If my theme is light, then we write a question mark. If my theme is light, then we have to add on one element here. And if my theme is not light, we will add on one element. If my if my theme is light, right? I'll if my theme is light, then what we need to do? See here. If my theme is light, right? This theme is light, we have a moon symbol, and if my theme is dark, we have a sun symbol. So simply I'll do one thing. In this I have already added some code for your reference. You can simply write moon. You can take down this svg code from the repo, and I have added a moon here, and here for the sun I'll write sun. Okay, so let me check it. Okay, we are not able to see anything. Let's take one by one. Now, in this toggle part, what I've done, I have imported my React, and then I have imported my sun. I'll write here some this also. I got issue. And this is my position I want to. Let me add here also. Top right, then I will add some transition. Okay. And then I have written this const toggle theme light. Just print it once. Wait. Check. I'm getting dark hair. See, I'm getting a dark hair. Now we'll debug it to it. Now here I have done this. There should be element. Why I'm not able to see it? Let's see once that. See, this is a element is there for sure. How will I be able to see it? Yeah, temporary background color. Okay. See, I have something here. Something is for sure there. Okay, let's. There is no mistake in it. Let's now debug the mistake. Okay. So I have added some theming here, and I want to do here just this moon and this what we call moon and sun only was required here. I guess there is no mistake in this guy. Let's check. Okay, in this also in content also I'm pretty sure there is no mistake. Now let's check this global style once. Okay, I am having a theme here. Let me check. Style components explore global style in body. I've added a background. Yes. And then Wait, only do one thing. Compare it with this guy. Okay. There is some issue on this. Oh, let's debug it. So for sure, it's some mistake in this thing. What is the mistake? Export global style. Okay, I'll debug my mistake later on. Just I have nothing I've done. I have here I am writing this dark theme and light theme. And the same only I'm using this theme here. This guy is sorted. Okay. Now we'll check some mistake is would be there in this also. Okay. This logging was not happening right. Okay. It's behaving abruptly. Uh, I'll do one thing. I'll check my code. Wait. I'll do one thing. I'll just add on my wait. I'll just check down this code. Okay. I'll debug here. There is some issues where we were, or when I was writing the code, right, I probably missed something. I'll debug it. So what I have done, nothing I have done. Simply we have wrote a use state and a use effect. I have imported them from React, and then we have imported something called user mode. And in the user mode, we have done like const theme, and I have set the theme as dark and a use state also as dark. Then I have clicked on the set mode, and this is the mode from where I was getting the value. This is windows.localstorage.set item, and in theme, comma mode. This is like whatever I'm storing in local storage, and then I have setting this theme as set mode, and then const toggle theme. And in this theme, we have something called we are choosing between dark and set mode is chosen as light, and here we are choosing the set mode as dark, and some use effect we are doing it, and then const local time is equals to windows.localtime.get item, and then we are using that theme. Then I'm using this local theme only, and I'm comparing it whether I have any local theme already there in present in my session storage, or sorry, local storage. Then I'm choosing it from there, or else I'm keeping the mode as a dark. I'll figure it out what issue I was doing when I was doing live coding. I don't know, maybe some typo mistake I would have probably done it. So this is how we made it. So to sum it up, I'll just sum up everything what I did from right from scratch. I have set up three things. One is this global styling sheet, and one was this my dark mode. Two styling sheets I have made. Why I have used style components for first instances? Because I wanted to build this application using dynamic styling and stuff like that. And with using the pure CSS, it's not possible. So this is one thing. And herein I am using two things. One is use state and use effect. Why this use state has been used? Use state is used to use when we want to change the theme from this theme and set theme. When we are changing between a theme and a set theme, use state comes with two things. One is the variable name and a function name that we will use to change the variable name. Theme is my variable name and a function which will update the value of a theme, that is my set theme. This is a function name which I have defined, and default value I've stored it in that. Okay, one thing. And when how we save things in local storage, that is windows.local storage dot a set item if you want to save it. And then this would be a key value pair in double quotes or in a stringy way. We will write the key and in comma, then we will write a value for it. Okay, here in my key was theme. Okay, then I'll set the theme to mode. Then I'll set this mode, right? Whether it's a dark or a light, I'll choose it here. From where I got this mode value. Now this is the option thing. This mode's value we are getting from the set mode. See, set mode is my function. Herein I am passing an argument. Be it be light, be it be dark, or be it be dark. Okay, by default I want my system should function in a dark theme, so that is why I have chose it as dark by default. So herein now what is this guy doing? This is local theme from where I'm getting. If I'm checking, do we have a old theme stored in or not? So how do I get it? I got it using windows.local storage dot get item and the theme name. And then I've checked that local storage comma set theme and a local from local storage. If any value is there, then it's cool, good enough. Then I'll use that only as my set theme. Else I'll set my mode as that. One thing I have done here, why I have added this empty, because this is empty because I want to render it only once. If you want to again and again render it on every API call, then we here write some dependency. Since I don't had any dependency, so I kept it as empty. So it is returning me two things. One is a theme and one is a toggle theme. These theme and toggle themes will serve as two functions for me. And this theme is, this theme will act as this toggle theme guy. This will act as a function that will help me to toggle between a dark theme and a light theme. And this theme is a variable that will help me to store the values of this dark and light. Okay. One thing is that in this global styles, nothing I have done much. I have created a create global style from in here, and I've exported it, and I have defined two set of themes. One is what color combinations I need when my theme is light, and what color combinations do I need when my theme is dark. Okay, and in here, this from where this theme is coming, this theme is globally defined in the theme setter, right? We had a theme setter kind of thing, right? So this theme setter will automatically handle from where my theme is coming. Okay, this theme we have passed in our theme setter. Okay, so you don't need to worry that how this global style component will be connected with the theme setter. Okay, so theme.body and this is theme.text. This is the color which I want, like white and black, and my primary color. This is my transition, like I don't want to reflect it in one go. I want to reflect it in some segments. Okay, then a font family, this robot of font family I have added. Okay, and here with the button also, some background color for button we have defined for both the dark and the light theme. Okay, these are both the some shades of purple it are. Okay, then I have defined this color as body theme, and we have defined some p tag, some styles to our paragraph tag. So this is in global style, and now this is app. In what did I done in app? This is content. All the things like all the heading, the paragraph, and a button. They are coming from this content, and this is styled. What is the style? This is a inbuilt component when we want to do some styling on components. So I've used this style. Then herein we write dot div or dot p dot button, anything, any HTML component, here it will come. And herein the values of it, they are okay. And a theme provider is there. This theme provider, what it'll do, it will generically into the entire application. They will this guy, see, I have enclosed it into a main big bracket. Okay, the main parent component is a theme provider. So this theme, it will be accessible to my entire application. So this is how this theme is been getting into this what this one global styles. Okay, how this guy is getting themes, and this is choosing between light theme and a dark theme. So the value of theme, this is getting from here. So one thing is that we have defined the theme and toggle theme here. These values, from where these things are coming, these things are coming from this user app mode. Okay, so this is done, and this is user dark mode and theme mode. I have done it, and equals to theme. And if it's light, it's already light. Then I want, if it's true, then I want to go with the light theme, and if it's false, then I want to go with the dark theme. So I have used here a theme provider, and all the things are been enclosed in a container. How do I add this global styles to my system? I'll simply add a global tag here. Then I have added two components. One is my toggle component and my content component. So what is in content component? I'll just give you a walkthrough. Nothing is there, just one h1 tag, one p tag, and one button. And this button primary, this class is coming from my global styles. Yes, this is button primary. Okay. Now in this toggle, again, I haven't done anything big in it. I've just imported style. Why? If this style will not be there, what will happen? See, simply these both guys, this icon is coming on the right corner, right? It will come on this what is and this random text, it would come over on top of it. Okay, it would have come. So that is why I have added some things to it and some transition also. And this position is my absolute position I'm needed. This is top and right position I want for this guy. Okay. So this is some transition I have added. Then nothing in this. I'm just consoling the thing because I was not able to find it out where my mistake was. Then this theme and toggle theme, from where it is getting from here. Line 20. Okay. And then it is choosing, here we are doing conditional rendering. That theme is, if this theme is light, then you add a moon. And if theme is dark, you add a sun. This is the color of the sun and stuff like that I have added. This is all inbuilt. I have just took the code from internet itself, right? How to make a sun in SVG. And also on top of it, I have added a on click. Whenever it's on clicked, right, automatically this toggle theme is been clicked. And when this toggle theme is been clicked, how this thing is handled, this is handled, see, this toggle theme is connected with this toggle. This toggle comes from this, and this toggle comes from here. Okay, so this is this toggle theme function, from here it is coming. So this is how we establish a connection between, how from one small component I've added this connection to parent component, and from parent component I've passed down to child component. So this things, how you might be wondering, right, how the value is changing. This value is changing from this guys. So all in all, this is how we made it. Now what we will do is just upload this code on GitHub. Then I'll explain you how we can deploy using Vercel tomorrow, because I have already took 10-12 minutes extra. Just upload this code on GitHub, and if you have any doubts regarding what I have explained and what things we have made, just go through it once. And if you faced any problem, you can just write it down in this WhatsApp group, and I'll escalate it. Or even you can leave a message on GitHub in that thread, right? Like I explained on the day one, that in day three, write your name in a MD file, and I'll read it. Fork the repo, and add on, send me some pull request, and I'll read your repo, and I'll reply on that repo itself. Sorry, in that PR or MR itself. And if you have any doubt, just go through it once and go through the entire code, how we have made it. And if you have any doubt, you shoot me up all the doubts tomorrow, and also upload this thing on GitHub also. Then I'll explain you how we can deploy this React app using Vercel. Okay. So yeah, that's all for today. If you have any doubts, just ask me up in this chat section, and I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for today's session. It was really interesting, especially the moon and the sun part. I loved it. Personally, I loved it a lot. And guys, if you have any doubts, please comment in the chat box. You can leave if you have any doubts in future also. You can leave it in a GitHub repository, like the ma'am said. She have told you the thread link, right? So you can leave it there. Or if you are added with us in our WhatsApp group, then you can leave it there also. And we still have 3 to 4 days left for this webinar. So whatever is left will be completed in the upcoming days. Stay tuned with us and thank you for all your support. So are there any doubts left? Anyone with any doubts? We still have 5 minutes. We can take the doubts if you guys want. Ma'am, I think we don't have any doubts. So I think we should end the session now. And thank you so
Yeah,
much.